Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. LIAT finally takes to the skies again with its new and reduced schedule. This story takes the lead in our 998th edition of Caribbean Perspective for Wednesday, 2nd December 2020. Details when we return. Welcome back. Resumption of passenger flights by Antigua-based LIAT as the Gaston Brown administration has proved to be the wind beneath the carrier's wings. The first flight in a new schedule took to the skies on Monday morning from Antigua to Barbados. ABS's Raghib Aparicio was at the airport for the momentous development.
There's a buzz of activity here at the VC Bird International Airport as the Antigua-Barbuda Airport Authority prepares for the departure of the Antigua-based carrier. On June 27, Prime Minister the Honourable Gaston Brown on his weekly radio program made the announcement that the future of the regional carrier was in jeopardy.
The survivability of LIAT is questionable. From all indications, LIAT is likely to be liquidated, LIAT 1974 Limited.
Prime Minister Brown at the time saw LIAT's crucial role in regional integration. He led the charge among his fellow regional heads of government to save the carrier. Following months of work and sacrifice, LIAT returned to the skies ceremonially November 1 during Antigua and Barbuda's 39th Independence Ceremonial Parade.
Alright, and so regional airline LIAT is now flying over.
The first commercial flight, however, would not take place until weeks later. That day was today. LIAT begins anew. The airline departs VC Bird International Airport today, November 30. On this, the first day of its 14-day new schedule set to end December 14th. The airline will take to the sky 6 times daily for the next 2 weeks, transiting passengers among Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada and Barbados. The majority of LIAT's passengers Monday boarded at St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as well as Barbados as they travel to their respective Caribbean destinations. The time, 8:55, and the iconic blue tail, LIAT, the Caribbean airline, is once again soaring through the skies. The airline's return, however, comes at a cost. Staffing has been significantly reduced. LIAT now employs an estimated 167 people, 12 of which are pilots, a stark contrast to the nearly 700 people it employed previously. Raghib Aparicio reporting for ABS News.
Trinidad and Tobago Ministry of Health says data over the past 14 days show a decrease in new COVID-19 cases, and there are signs of a return to a normal average rate of just about 30 cases per day. However, Dr. Avery Hines cautioned at the customary Monday media update that there is a need for everyone to follow the public health guidelines and protocols that are in place. TV6's Nicholas Lutchman Singh has more.
Dr. Avery Hines broke down the epidemiological curve of COVID-19 cases, saying that the data shows that cases are decreasing and showing signs of returning to a normal average rate of just 30 cases per day.
In spite of to what we might refer to as spikes that actually correspond to increased cases arising out of the cluster from the prisons. The 7-day average over the last few days has now begun to drop back to the normal or back to what is baseline at this point in time for our population, which is about 30 cases per day.
Dr. Hines reiterated the need for people not to gather, but for them to adhere to health guidelines, as there are still persons out there with COVID-19 who may not know they are ill.
We want to reduce the risk of bringing webs of people together, and in so doing, we want to reduce the risk of transmission of this virus from people who may not know that they are ill So we want to encourage the virtual hangouts, virtual limes. We want to encourage people to remain indoors. We want to encourage people to maintain the hygiene practices that we've been advocating, the wearing of the masks, the washing of the hands, the physical distancing.
Professor Christine Carrington said currently there are over 300 vaccines being developed worldwide, of which 56 are in clinical trials being tested on humans. She noted that there is no vaccine that has completed its phase 3 trial, but said 3 vaccines have produced positive results.
Two of these are mRNA vaccines, and the third is a viral vector vaccine. And in each case, the interim analysis that they did indicated large reductions in disease in individuals who had received the vaccines compared to those who had not. The results are extremely promising, and we look forward to revisiting them once the trials are complete. So these are interim results.
The professor went on to explain exactly how vaccines work.
Vaccines now are biological presentations that train the immune system to recognize and combat specific infectious agents by triggering an immune response without causing any disease. Put simply, what they do is they trick the body into believing that it has been infected by presenting it with similar or modified virus or proteins from the disease-causing virus. So you're tricking the body into believing it has been infected, and it mounts an immune response that it's now going to remember in future should it really get infected by the disease-causing virus.
Manager of the immunization program, Grace Sukchan, said the Ministry of Health has been successful in the past in the administering of vaccines, and as such, they have full confidence in the process.
Rest assured that the Ministry of Health have been going through scenario planning for these vaccines. The Ministry of Health has established a committee for planning, coordinating, and implementation of all activities related to the rollout of the COVAX vaccines. We review global level information from WHO, UNICEF related to COVID-19 vaccines and have incorporated it into planning and preparation as needed.
Nicholas Suchman Singh, TV6 News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
Police had their hands busy with several reports of sex offences against minors and women. Let's take a look at the crime rap in Trinidad and Tobago, as shared by Anselm Gibbs of TV6 News.
5 men are before the court for separate alleged crimes against girls and women. A 43-year-old man appeared before a Port of Spain magistrate today, charged with a series of sexual offences against 2 female minors, aged 11 and 13. The Diego Martin man is charged with 13 counts of sexual penetration of a minor, 4 counts of engaging in sexual activity in the presence of a child, 2 counts of grooming a minor, 1 count of possession of child pornography. The girl's mother told police a man known to them allegedly sexually assaulted the girls over a period of time. Police investigations found the girls were spending time at their father's house in Diego Martin when the attacks happened. The girl's father allowed an unemployed friend to stay at his father's home. The man allegedly developed a relationship with the girls and waited at night when the father left to have sexual intercourse with them. The second incident comes as a warning for girls and women when traveling. A 25-year-old PH taxi driver has been charged for the sexual touching of a minor in his taxi. The man was due to appear before a Port of Spain magistrate today, charged with the offense. The girl told police she was traveling in a car with the suspect when he drove her to a dead end near Queen Avenue in Barataria. There he allegedly sexually touched her. And in San Fernando, a man will appear before the court for sexual acts against 2 minors. A 15-year-old girl told police during the month of April 2019, a 25-year-old man known to her took her to a relative's house in Gasparilla. There he allegedly had sexual intercourse with her on 3 occasions. Police also discovered the man allegedly sexually assaulted his 5-year-old daughter. He is charged with 3 counts of sexual penetration of a minor and 1 count of sexual touching of a minor. Staying at the San Fernando court, a 37-year-old man appeared before a magistrate today for sexually touching a minor. This after a 13-year-old girl told police while at her aunt's home back in May, she was awoken by a man sexually touching her. And Selm Gibbs, TV6 News.
Guyana's former President David Granger is of the view that the government's absurd decision to reverse the policy on the importation of used tires and cars was initiated for profit-making rather than safety of road users. More from HGP's Wendell Badri.
In an interview on the Public Interest Show hosted by Randolph Critchlow, former President of Ghana, David Granger, spoke to the issue of road safety as Ghana is currently observing Road Safety Week 2020, reminding that road safety is a branch of science and therefore studies need to be conducted to ensure safer thoroughfares. He posited that it is absurd for the government to reverse the policy on used tires and cars beyond a certain lifespan. The former president noted that the month of December is marked by consistent rainfall and therefore if used tires and motor vehicles beyond a certain lifespan are not properly inspected, it could contribute to increased road accidents and related fatalities.
There's a reason why developed countries get rid of cars after they spend a certain time on the road, because they're less efficient in terms of fuel consumption, and they're more dangerous.
Granger suggested that a study should be conducted to ascertain whether old vehicles are more prone to accidents than newer ones.
Study should be done to see to what extent old vehicles are involved in accidents, because they just can't stop in time, or they can't, be driven on the road safely. It doesn't make sense to me, but then again, a lot of things the government does don't make sense to anybody.
The former president is adamant that decisions, as those made by the current administration with regards to approval of used vehicles and tires, are guided by profit-making and not necessarily the desire to protect road users.
It cannot be a policy that is guided by the desire to protect the pedestrian, to protect the ordinary road user. It is guided by desire to enrich the dealers. As simple as that.
Granger said that, like everything else, for road safety to be fully realized, science needs to be applied.
It is a branch of science. That is to say, if you discover, for example, that accidents are taking place at between 18 hours, 6 p.m. and midnight, perhaps instead of a policeman coming to work, a traffic policeman coming to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, you should perhaps come to work at 8 o'clock at night, because that's the dangerous period. There's no point coming to work when there's no danger and going home when the danger is evident.
Road Safety Week was launched on Monday under the theme, Stop Speeding, Don't Drink and Drive, Stay Alive. 2020, even in the midst of a pandemic, lockdown, and curfew measures, saw an increase in road fatalities by 39%, according to the Police Traffic Department. The Traffic Department also indicated that the main cause for road accidents this year was speeding and driving under the influence. Meanwhile, Minister of Home Affairs Robeson Ben has stated that most accidents occur on the weekends between 6 p.m. and midnight, while promising to increase the presence of traffic ranks on the country's thoroughfares. The minister also revealed that a significant percentage of the accident victims are young men between the ages of 23 and 42 that operate motorcycles and bicycles on the roadways, oftentimes without the requisite safety gear. Wendell Badri, HGP Nightly News.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.